It's Monday, August 19th, and the vlog is back in its normal setting. This god-awful mess of a room I call my studio and office. Hi, I'm Zach. I promise I'm going to get this cleaned up at some point when I have time. I guess I have time this afternoon. I'm not going to do it. But some point soon, the whole mess back here is going to be a lot cleaner. Happy birthday to my wife, Audrey. It is the 19th of August. It's her birthday. And we barely saw each other today. I saw her for a few minutes this morning before she went to work. Of course, I'm off on Mondays. And then tonight, she's going to be doing her own thing. I'm going to be doing my own thing. And we'll probably see each other for a few minutes before we go to bed. And I hate that, but birthdays are not a big deal in our house. We don't really celebrate them much, even though our birthdays are only a week apart. My birthday is coming up next weekend. Happy birthday to me. Please don't make a big deal out of it. I never do. But our birthdays are only a week apart. Technically, they're 51 weeks apart because I'm a year older than her. But for this week, we're the same age, and that's a big deal in our house. Yeah, sometimes we'll go on a little weekend trip together up to the Smokies or to Atlanta or somewhere. Sometimes we'll just go out to eat, but it's never really been a big deal to celebrate our birthdays. For whatever reason, it's not that important to either one of us. So that's the lay of the land. But I made sure to wish her a happy birthday before she left for work this morning, and I'll wish her a happy birthday again tonight when she gets home. And I know she's going to watch this, so Audrey, happy birthday again. All right, moving on. Yeah, last week was the baseball trip vlog. And thank you for watching that. A bunch of you did. It was a lot of fun to put together. Got my video editing skills going again. And it was really fun on the trip to be filming myself, even though it was kind of weird sometimes that people would look at this dude doing his camera up here and taking selfies and talking to his camera. But I didn't care. I was in 3 cities that I'm not familiar with. I didn't know anybody. So I don't care if they look down on me. Who cares? So it was fun. It was a really fun trip. I was dog tired. So that last part of that video, I was at B&A. It had been exactly 72 hours since I had recorded it. Audrey was there at the airport waiting on me. She picked me up, brought me back home, probably got home around 9:45, 10 o'clock, and I had about an hour to kind of decompress, and then I went and did my normal Saturday stuff for the most part. I went to improv class, and I was completely whipped. My brain was not functioning at all, which is not good when you're trying to do improv. So I probably should have sat that one out. But I went. I was there. I didn't miss it. But it was a tough day in class. And then I went to work for like 4 hours. Thankfully, I didn't have to actually work until 11 o'clock at night like I normally do on Saturday. I got a sub to take the back half, but I still had a lot of work to do. So by the time I got home last Saturday night, man, I was just completely gone mentally. It was such a fun trip, but it was taxing, and I can't wait to do it again. And next year I'm going to try to do it again. So we'll see. So yesterday was the 18th of August. Say hi to Daisy, by the way. She's going to get in her little bed. Look how cute that little bed is. That was actually given to us by my mother-in-law for their little dog. Didn't really care for it, so they gave it to us, and Daisy absolutely loves it. So thank you to my mother-in-law for that, because Daisy's a big fan. Yesterday was the 18th of August, and it was the 25th anniversary of me working in radio, which is crazy, because that's, I'm 43 next week, and that's been now 2/3 of my life, basically. I've been working in this business, and I got to tell you, it's been, I don't know if the math's right on that. Don't quote me on that. But there have been a lot of ups and downs. I've worked for some good bosses. I've worked for some really bad bosses. I've worked at some successful stations. I've worked at some stations that were not successful. There were a lot of those that are no longer playing the format they were when I was on them. But I will say, to work basically continuously for 25 years in any industry, specifically the radio industry, with the turnover that it has, I am nothing short of blessed. There's been only 3 months since 1999 that I have not worked in media. And that was when I got fired from the job I had for 11 years. And it took me a couple months, but that's when I landed at WSM, and I've never been happier with my life and career than I am right now, where I am. I absolutely love working at WSM in the Opry. And I wouldn't be there if I hadn't gotten fired from that horrible job I worked at before, where I was there way too long. But 25 years in this industry is a pretty significant milestone. And I have worked for all kinds of radio stations, small town ownership, big ownership, corporate radio ownership, independent owners. I've worked for a sports radio network. I've been syndicated nationally on a music network. I've worked for a major American talk show. I mean, I've done a lot in 25 years, but I've never worked anywhere that I'm as happy in my job as I am right now. And I understand that things are fleeting and I'm not going to be there for the rest of my life. I could be, I don't know. But I love where I am now and I'm not taking a minute of it for granted. So happy 25 years in radio to me. It's, I still feel like a kid that I don't know what I'm doing. But then at other times, and I don't mean to sound full of myself when I say this, but I know I'm really damn good at what I do. And it shows in my work and in my work ethic. And I think the fact that I have been employed basically nonstop for 25 years shows a lot about my character. And I've always tried to do things the right way. And I've been involved in a lot of intra-office drama, whatever. As far as I know, am not usually the cause of that. I'm usually the victim of it from other people. I try to play it safe. I try to be not politically conservative, don't get me wrong, but just I try to have a kind of a conservative personality in my professional life. I don't stir up the shit. I just kind of do my thing and do it really well and feel like I've had a chip on my shoulder since day one, and that's the way I operate. So I know I'm good at what I do, but I know I can be better. So that's my MO, and I think that has helped with this longevity in this career. So I am incredibly blessed to be doing what I'm doing, working where I'm working, loving what I'm doing, and have done it for so long. So it is not lost on me at all. Last night, what's funny is 25 years ago, my first radio job was at WANT in Lebanon, Tennessee. And that is a station that is locally owned there in Lebanon. It's owned by the same lady now who owned it 25 years ago and even 31 years ago when it started. I think 1993 is when it signed on the air. So it's owned by the same lady. And a lot of the same people work there today that worked there when I started. And they're all good people. And I love them all. And one of my first gigs when I worked for that station in 1999 was I went to the Wilson County Fair and sat at the radio station's booth and handed out prizes and said hello to people. 25 years later to the day, that's what I did last night for WSM. It was at the Wilson County Fair, sitting at the radio station booth, handing out prizes and talking to listeners. Everything comes full circle, doesn't it? And it was just a few hundred feet from where that first remote was. And I didn't see anybody from the radio station in Lebanon there last night. They're there a lot during the fair. Sunday night is the one night of the week that they don't come there. So I didn't see anybody. But it's just what an irony, I think, that's where I wound up last night, 25 years to the day that I started my career in radio doing that exact same thing. So very, very cool. And, you know, the Wilson County Fair it's changed a lot in 25 years, but in some ways it hasn't. And it's still a very kind of hometowny thing, but it's just so much bigger now. So when I was a kid, the county fair was just kind of a thing. You'd go and ride rides, and it wasn't a big deal. I don't feel like the Wilson County Fair became a big deal until probably the late 90s, right around that time that I started going for the radio station. I remember being a teenager, and we would go on Sunday nights. Our youth group would skip out on Sunday night church and go across town, because I was going to church in Lebanon then, and we would go across town and go to the fair instead of going to church on that Sunday night. And that's what I remember about the fair when I was a teenager. But it was just a few buildings and a few rides, and it was a big deal in Lebanon, but outside of Lebanon, nobody really cared about it. And then people started to get wind of how good the fair was, and then people just started showing up from all over the county and all over the mid-state, and now it's merged with the state fair, so you got people coming from everywhere, and it is massive. It's so huge, but at its core, it's still what it was, you know, when I was a teenager, but it is ginormous now. But it was good to be out there last night because, I mean, it's been a couple years since I've been to the fair. I haven't been as a patron in several years, but to go to work the fair, to work for at least one night at the fair, it was kind of like going back home because I am from Wilson County, and I know a lot of the people. I saw a couple people that I know there, but not too many. It seems like every time I go, I see fewer and fewer people that I knew from when I was younger, but that's also just people dispersing, Maybe not all those people live in Wilson County anymore, but used to be. Even 10 years ago, I'd go to the fair, and everywhere I looked, I would run into somebody that I knew. Didn't really happen last night. We have our new studio, WSM. I've talked a lot about that over the last couple of months. Tomorrow night, we're having our big ribbon cutting, so we got the corporate bigwigs coming in to see the place, and we're putting the finishing touches on that. Thankfully, I'm off today and don't have to deal with it, but I'm going to be working furiously tomorrow to help with that. But we're going to have a big grand opening thing, ribbon cutting, and I think Vince Gill's going to be there tomorrow night to help us cut the ribbon. I've never actually met Vince Gill or hardly any country music singer. It's a question I get all the time when I tell people I work at the Grand Ole Opry and WSM is, oh, you must know all the big stars. I don't, and I've made it a point to kind of stay out of that orbit if I can, and it's nothing personal against them. And it's just, I want to maintain my distance. I don't want to be chummy with a lot of the musicians. I've gotten to meet a couple of them and gotten to know a couple of them that worked with us on shows that we produced for the radio station. But beyond that, I don't really feel interested in getting friendly with a lot of the big stars because I want to separate, that too. I enjoy their work. I don't necessarily want to get to know the person. Not that there's anything wrong with any of them, but I just kind of enjoy the perspective that I have on a lot of that country music. And so I don't know a lot of them. So I might get to meet Vince Gill for the first time tomorrow night. And I'm sure he's a wonderful person. I've heard nothing but good things about him. I'm not saying anything about him in particular, but just in general, that's why I don't know a lot of the country music stars is I don't really want to. I want to keep that arm's length distance if I can. And if there's a reason to get to know one, then great. I have no problem with that. But, I don't want to be friendly with all of them. So that's a common question that I get. So I thought I would answer it here on the vlog. Oh, it wouldn't be a vlog if I didn't talk about improv, because that's kind of my passion and everything I've been doing a lot lately. So we had a show this past Thursday night, a 2-person show, me and my friend Fred. We had it was a thing that the comedy club does once a month called Twofold, and it's all duos for 20 minutes. You go out there and you just do a duo set. You don't have anybody else to bail you out. You have to do everything, just the two of you for 20 minutes. And that was a daunting challenge. I knew it was going to be tough, and it was, but it was so much fun. And we had such a great time. And I think we put on a good set. I gave it a B+. I thought we entertained the audience well. We did everything we were supposed to do as far as, improv, fundamentals and that sort of thing. I think we entertained everyone and we were funny, but there were some things we could have done better. But no sooner had I gotten out of the theater and back into the bar that one of the producers for one of the other shows at Third Coast said, "You guys were great. Do you want to come on our show too?" Yes. So we're going to perform again in September. I'll give you that date a little bit later on, but just the two of us, Fred and I, and that's going to be a lot of fun. And that's going to be a very interesting show. And as soon as we get pen to paper on that, then I will definitely let you know. But I'm looking very, very forward to that show coming up in September. We have another show this Friday night, East Nashville Beer Works. This is the big one. This is two couples and a throuple. We're going to have our friends Rat Dude with us. We're going to have our friends Laundry Pile with us. There's going to be, about 20 improvisers out there making you laugh, and it's completely free. Please come out because we really want to have a good showing. We're hoping to turn this into a monthly gig. It's not a monthly gig yet. We got to see how that first show goes. Is the first show going to be successful? How's it going to work on stage? Are we going to draw a big crowd? It's kind of a pilot, but we want a big crowd. So if you're watching this, please come see us at East Nashville Beer Works. You're going to laugh your ass off, I promise. Friday night, 8 o'clock, absolutely free. It's outdoors. The weather's really great this week, so you're going to have a good time. No cover charge, no parking fee, just buy a beer. That's all we ask. It's a brewery. They've got several different beers that they brew on site, and they're all fantastic. So, as far as I know. I'll explain why I don't know here in a second, but I've heard nothing but good things about East Nashville Beer Works. So please come out Friday night. We'd love to see you. As far as why I don't know why the beers are good or not, because I haven't drank any, because I'm not drinking anymore. I have not had a drop of alcohol in at least 2.5 months now, and part of the reason is because of the weight loss drug I'm on. It just doesn't jive with alcohol. It not only is it a lot of extra calories that just go to waste, but also the way that this semaglutide kind of breaks down the sugars in your body and the time it takes to do it, it does not go well with alcohol. And from what I understand, it makes you really bloated, and it takes a really long time to get you the effects of alcohol, per se. And even if it does at all, and it's very delayed, you might take a swig and, not feel it until hours later. I don't know how that works. I'm not even going to test it because I've seen so many other people with horror stories about drinking and taking this weight loss med. So I'm not drinking right now. So I'm going to be doing the Improv completely sober, which is why it probably won't be as funny from me as it will from my counterparts on my cohort. But either way, I want you to come out and see us and have a beer. Have a beer for me, because I can't. And tell me how it is, because I would love to indulge, but I can't. Friday night, East Nashville Beer Works, 8 o'clock. It's free. I want to see you there. Finally, weight loss update. I'm down another pound this week, and I was down a pound and some change last week. So in total, I'm down over 17 pounds in 9 weeks, and I can really tell it. My shirts are fitting a lot better. I'm able to wear shirts that I haven't worn in a while because I'm not just bulging out of them anymore, which is great. I feel like my face has kind of thinned out a little bit. I don't feel as bloated as I did before. And also, my pants size, I've gone down already 2 pants sizes, which is nuts. And maybe going down another one soon, because it seems to be all coming out of my waist at first. And so I could not be happier with how this drug is working. It is, if you didn't know, it's like the generic version of Wegovy, because my insurance wouldn't cover the Wegovy brand, so we got it through a compound pharmacy over in Murfreesboro from my doctor, and it is working wonders. And I'm not really doing a whole lot of exercising. I'm just keeping I stay fairly active throughout the day. I'm running around doing things, and I get a lot of steps on my Fitbit and that sort of thing, but I'm not like doing high intensity cardio or anything like that. Maybe I should, if my knee would cooperate. My knee's not been great lately, but I would probably ramp it up if I did, as far as the weight loss goes. So gonna keep trying and gonna keep going with that, and it's going really, really well, and just keep it on increasing that dosage on the plan that my doctor put me on, and it's working. So hopefully you'll see even less of this chin in the weeks to come. I have gone way over. I've had a lot to talk about today. Thank you for watching. That's it for the vlog for this Monday, August 19th. Happy birthday, Audrey. I'll see you tonight. Y'all have a great Monday, and peace out. I said peace out again. That's lame. It's lame.